How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 with another transfer update. It's no days off at the moment, is it? It's coming thick and fast at the moment as this PSR FFP deadline comes up. Lots of clubs trying to find creative ways around problems I'm noticing, and Newcastle United are looking to do a little bit of business. We'll start with the biggest news. I would say the biggest news. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will not, well, certainly at this point, but we'll say again, not be joining Newcastle United. Now, Sky Sports have been reporting all the day that Eddie Howe is an admirer of his. He's rated him for quite a long time. He's been after him for quite a long time. Newcastle United made an inquiry, but the return come from somebody who, if a zombie was to eat the brains of said person who quoted this figure, he'd still be absolutely fucking starving, because they actually came up with a figure of £40 million for Calvert-Lewin when he's got a year left. He's got 1 year left. He's into the final year of his deal. He's already suggested that he probably won't be signing a new contract at Woodison Park. He wants to go to pastures new. He's probably seen, what's happened with the likes of Anthony Gordon, and thought, a fresh start, a new start somewhere else could be good for my career. It's going to give us a chance to be able to win something. But Everton have demanded 40 million quid to sell him when he's got just a year left on his contract. So rightfully, not surprisingly, Newcastle United have said thanks, but no thanks to the Evertonians down there. The Scouse Mackhams have been told, no, there's not a fucking chance. I know you might need a few quid yourselves to pass the PSR, commitments and so on, but it will not be coming from us, and they will turn their attentions through to other signings. And I'm glad, to be honest. I'll be putting it up on the page. For me, I would rather keep Callum Wilson, because yes, last season Calvert-Lewin had a much better season with regards to fitness. However, he's been fit for much, for many more games. However, he's only scored a fraction of the goals that Callum Wilson has scored. Callum Wilson, when fit, is an elite level striker. I would rather keep Callum Wilson, only have him for half the games of the season, and bring in a youngster to be able to work alongside him, to learn of him as well as Isaac, and cover for Wilson when Wilson isn't available. I think that's a much more logical way of looking at things, a much better way, and probably a much cheaper way of doing things, as opposed to pumping 40 million quid. Honestly, which absolute and utter fucking weapon came up with 40 million pound? How can you justify 40 million pound for Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I just don't know what planet some folk operate on. I don't know if the air's a little bit thinner down at Liverpool. I don't know. But fuck me. I'm just glad that the club have seen sense and are not willing to spend what is not the world's biggest budget, but a large chunk of that on him. I just think, he's struggled at times down at Everton with injuries. He's missed so many games over the last couple of years, and then you put him in an Eddie Howe system, with Eddie Howe training, with Eddie Howe's intensity, etc, and it makes no sense. He's not going to last 5 fucking minutes, and we all know that stamina is very, very important, shall we say. He's got to last longer than 5 minutes. Fucking hell. It's maybe the sun. I don't know. It's maybe getting to me. I don't know. But yeah, it's a no-go on that one. Minteh, Yankuba Minteh. Now, he's the lad that we signed last year loaned him out straight away through to Feyenoord. He's had a cracking season there. He's really done well with the step up from the Danish league, where we signed him from, up to the Dutch league. He's done well. Question marks, some people still putting question marks around whether he could make the step up from Dutch football to Premier League football, and I was looking forward to seeing him, seeing him over the summer, to be able to see, look, can he do it? Can he make the step up? Is he going to need another loan or two before he's able to make that adjustment to English football? But lots of rumour, lots of speculation, lots of different journalists, linking different clubs, and interest is thought to be really, really high, on him, included Everton. Everton were interested in him, but obviously, if we're not going to be pumping £40 million for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they haven't got the finances to be able, to pay the wages, if you believe some of the stuff that's on Sky Sports News. But they haven't certainly got £40 million to be able to sign a 19-year-old youngster. So they are out of the race, despite the fact that he's, was supposedly pushing towards a move to Everton because he wanted to prove himself in the Premier League, which you can't knock him, best league in the world, and he's wanting to have a go at that side. You can't knock him. But there is clubs all over the place, including the likes of Dortmund, with their record with youth development and so on and so forth. They're supposedly interested in him. Marseille, Lyon, Roma, a whole host of other clubs interested in signing him. Brighton last night threw their hat into the ring, and the price initially, I think, £25 million was getting mentioned, but now again around the £40 million mark for this lad, despite the fact he hasn't kicked a ball for Newcastle United. £40 million in this day and age, it's crazy. But when there's literally so many different clubs trying to buy him, it probably is the going rate, isn't it, for a youngster? We've all seen, I think, some more transfer shenanigans today between Villa and Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. So £40 million, that's the asking price. Newcastle United have said, look, we won't be held to ransom, we will sell for a decent profit, or he will come in and there will be a career path put in place for him to get to the first team. So Newcastle United not wanting to be messed around, not wanting to be mugged off, standing firm. If he is going, he's going to go for good money, and that is going to be able to get us past and through this PSR checkpoint, this ticky box exercise, this fucking spreadsheet exercise that's coming up with the end of the accounting period. Newcastle United needed to be able to do a little bit of player trading to be able to give them that headroom to be able to relax and not have to sell some of the big hitters. So it makes lots of sense, and it makes more sense that Newcastle United are speaking to some of these clubs who are interested in the lad. In particular, Lyon are being strongly linked at the moment, and what they are saying is, yes, we will sell you this player for £40 million. However, what we want is a clause inserted in there that we can buy him back at an agreed price further down the line. So if he goes to a Lyon and he does well, it gives us an option to be able to buy the lad back at a reasonable fee, not to be held to ransom, and to get him back to Tyneside. And if it doesn't work out that way, then there's the option in there for a clause, a sell-on fee, a sell-on percentage, so that again, if he is to make a further transfer, Newcastle United financially benefit from any future move for this lad. So again, first option, an agreed transfer fee and a sell-on percentage as well. I think that makes a lot of financial sense. It gets us through the PSR issues and problems. I've said on multiple posts on Magpie 24/7, it's maddening that Newcastle United, we've got the world's richest owners, but we're not the world's most richest football club. Unfortunately, we've won the lottery, but we can't cash in to a certain degree that lottery ticket to hit the big time. We've got to be able to think creatively, a bit of creative accounting, buy players in, good young players with potential, and then to be able to to move them on sometimes. Not all of the players that we go out and buy, even if they do well, will be able to get into the first team, because you look at Manchester City, who do it really, really effectively. You look at Chelsea, who do it really, really effectively. We've got to be able to trade well, and Darren Hill said that, didn't he, in the interview that he did when the accounts were released a few months ago, that we need to trade better, and this is just part of it. Like I say, Manchester City, even with the likes of Palmer and stuff like that, Chelsea have done it for years and years and years. They get so many good youngsters in, and then they'll have a certain percentage that they'll use for the first team, and then there'll be another percentage of all the players that they've signed that they will sell off to other clubs, and that money that is generated, that profit that is generated, then goes directly back into the running of the club. It means that they don't have to sell some of their first team stars, and that is what's happened at Newcastle United. I'd much rather sell a Minteh, as painful and as difficult as that is, and lots of people have explained and expressed that they are frustrated at selling a good promising youngster. But I'd much rather sell Minteh than a Bruno or an Isak, or not be able to offer a contract to Joe Linton like we did recently. So I'd much rather keep our top stars and build like that than take a chance. And it is a chance on a player who hasn't played any Premier League minutes, has he? So to me, I think the balance of probability, I think it's a sensible decision that the club has made. It protects us for the future. We can bring them back. There's an agreed price, we know what that will be, and it's making us some money, and it's protecting the short-term issues and stuff that we might face through this PSR and FFP. Because the last thing that you want is to go into the season and then you failed by a few £1 million, and then you're getting hit with points deductions and so on and so forth. Because I've seen some people say, look, we should just fuck it all off and literally go hell for leather. But the bigger the losses, then again they're going to whack you. And I mean literally any. I mean, Everton were punished, Nottingham Forest, so on and so forth, are punished. Leicester are going to be punished. However, the first time in any time that Newcastle United literally put an ant's knob worth of issue out there, as soon as we break any rule, as soon as we don't meet a financial commitment or something like that, they will be all around us like flies round shit. So it is imperative, because we will get the maximum punishment. There's no discretion. There's no bringing the points total down for cooperation or anything else like that. They will hammer us with the maximum force that they can. Make no bones about it, because the cartel are worried about Newcastle United, the project, the way that the club is going, and so on and so forth. And Aston Villa are going to get the exact same treatment this season, and it's going to be them cartel members trying everything possible to stop the club from growing, from getting better, from breaking into the European slots on a consistent basis, so on and so forth. So again, we have to be really, really careful and walk the tightrope and stick to the rules. As much as the rules are an absolute fucking joke, they're not fit for purpose, and they may get challenged, they may get changed. We don't know what's happening with this latest Manchester City case that's gone on for the last couple of weeks. We don't know about any ramifications. We don't know about any knock-on, any changes that they want to make with regards to the the Premier League meetings, the Premier League rules, because it's just not fit for purpose. Teams, other clubs are taking the piss. Talking about Manchester City again, they've got all those charges, yet they're still able to spend as they want. They're still able to sign all these great players. You've got Chelsea selling hotels back to themselves, training grounds back to themselves, and literally taking the piss out of these rules. So it's clear to me they're not fit for purpose. They're useless. Fuck me, they might as well wrote it on the back of fucking toilet paper for as much use as these fucking set of rules are. So whatever they come up with, fuck me, it needs to change, doesn't it? It needs to change really, really quickly. But in the meantime, Newcastle United are doing all that they can do to stick to these absolutely stupid fucking rules. Let's face it. And Minteh leaving is, for the time being, going to go a long way towards sorting that out. But I'm just over the fucking moon that we're not signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin and pumping and blowing 40 million quid down the drain on a player like that when there is other options, out there. Newcastle United have demonstrated that the fact that there is money in the pot, there is scope. Once we get past this PSR situation at the moment, create the headroom, we will be signing players. I think it's very clear that we're after a right winger. All the links for obviously Elise, we missed out on him, but the money was there because clearly we went after him and we made we made a more than generous offer. We went after him, we made the right noises, we made the right everything, but it wasn't to be. We missed out to an absolute juggernaut of European football. And a team in the Champions League. There's no shame in that, but Newcastle United are working away on other targets, and fingers crossed something will happen on that very, very shortly. But I think there could be still one or two outgoings this week. Lots of talk, isn't there, about Callum Wilson and his future. Interest from quite a few Saudi Arabian clubs as well as West Ham, and it's all just cash down on the table, cash up front to try and tempt Newcastle United into doing business to be able to sell him. And he's not the only one. We had interest reported around a Wolves player as well recently. So again, lots of different journalists, trusted journalists with good connections to the club, saying lots of things, and that the old adage, there's no smoke without fire. So fingers crossed we'll be able to add to Lloyd Kelly, who's still our only main signing. I know the Lewis Hall thing that will go through very, very shortly. 28 million quid on there straight away as well. So we have money, but we have to be careful with the budget, and we can't afford to be just absolutely running roughshod and blowing fucking £40 million and helping Everton out. Why should we do any sort of favours towards Everton? And you think about how much that we paid for Gordon, wasn't too much more, was it? But you've got a player in Gordon who had the potential to become one of the best attacking midfielders in the league, and I just don't see that potential. I don't see that potential with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. As good as a player as he is, he's scored goals, different types of goals, he's a focal point and so on and so forth. But fuck me, I'd rather have Joselu back. He's been in the news today. Obviously he's going to be leaving Real Madrid. They didn't want to lose him. However, he's going off to a club in Qatar, I believe, as well. So yeah, good luck to him. I've even seen people saying, well, I'd prefer Chris Wood back. He literally had that one ridiculous game, that one ridiculous performance against us, and hasn't done a great deal since then. So I think I'll park that one to the side. But in Eddie we trust, in the recruitment team we trust, in the new owners of Newcastle United we certainly do trust, and the trust is there, the confidence is there that they will be bringing in the players that we need to. But I'm glad that they're not being pushed around. They're not going to be held to ransom. We're not going to sell a player like Minteh on the cheap just to be able to satisfy these PSR rules. We're sticking to the valuations, and we're not going to overpay for injury prone strikers to be able to come in. I think that's smart, clever business. I think the Minteh situation has been handled as well as it possibly could. Yes, from a footballing side, you want to see him come in, given maybe the pre-season, to be able to show what he can do for Newcastle United, because he's a right winger and we need a right winger in the team. It could be a perfect arrangement. However, when it comes to finances and stuff like that, I understand, and I do think the club is trying to get the best possible deal and try to cover as many bases as they can. But it's difficult. It really, really is difficult. It shouldn't ought to be like this. When Chelsea got the takeover, when Manchester City got the takeover, when they got the fucking golden ticket, they were allowed to go ahead and transform the club overnight. Big money signings, money no object. But of course, for Newcastle United, it's not an even playing field, and we're having to do it with sort of one arm tied behind our back, fucking hopping, so on and so forth. We're having to literally jump through so many fucking hoops. It's unbelievable. Those at the Premier League, the cartel clubs, the Richard Masters of the world, they've got it in for us. They have got it in for us. But every time that they try and pull one of these tricks, then we just don't give them. We don't give them the opportunity to have that smirk on their face. We don't give them the satisfaction of falling into their fucking traps. We do what needs to be done. The club have always said that they will be fully compliant with FFP. with fucking PSR and any other bastard abbreviations that you want to come up with, so you can stick that up your fucking where the sun don't shine, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are at the moment. Minteh looks like he will be leaving. That'll be negotiated over the next couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Miggy go. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wilson go over the next few days as well. But yeah, just for league, we're not going to be signing the likes of Calvert-Lewin, because even when the link come the other day, I was like, you what? And it's one of them ones that you check from one source and you look at the other, and you're looking at 3 or 4, and everybody's sort of saying a similar thing, and you're like, am I in some sort of ulterior fucking universe? Have I literally slipped between fucking parallel universes or something? Because you're like, this can't be right. This cannot be right. It cannot be happening. But it nearly did. Clearly Eddie Howe really likes him, but yeah, not for me. And Eddie would trust any player that, any player that we sign that pulls on that black and white shirt, you're 1,000% behind, especially every time that they walk over that white line at St James's Park, or obviously away from home. But for me, it would have been a head scratcher, and it would have been a large leap of faith. I think would have been the best way to be able to describe my feelings on that particular transfer. But yeah, let me know down below, who do you want to see Newcastle United signing? Is there any of the links that you're sort of really positive on? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you for your continued support for Magpie 24/7 across the board, and on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It does mean a heck of a lot. We are trying to push it, and like I've said on previous videos, there are new graphics and stuff that are being designed and sorted out. As I'm recording this video, you'll see one at the end of the video, but there are new graphics, new intros, updated intros to be able to come up onto the videos and stuff shortly. I'm just out and about. I've been at Graft. I had a quite eventful day, to be honest, today, because there was a bit of a crash whilst I was out behind us, so I was tending to that as well. So it's yeah, it's been a different sort of day, but I hope it's decent where you were at. I know this end of the season sort of thing is it's not great, is it? I can't wait for Newcastle United to be back. I know England are playing tomorrow, and I was going to put a little bit more out on the England side of it, but yeah, mainly the fact Trippier, despite concerns over a slight calf issue that he's got, he was out training today. He should still play in the game tomorrow, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll have another good game for England. I doubt Gordon will get a fucking sniff because it's Gareth Southgate, and like I say, he's about as fucking sharp as a fucking marble, isn't he? So yeah, I doubt he'll make too many changes. I doubt that he'll give the likes of Gordon a chance, but I think Trippier will play there. He will deputise at left back, and hopefully it's a little bit more entertaining than the previous games, because it's been absolutely and utterly a fucking bore fest so far from an England perspective. I was watching the Scotland game a bit last night, but mainly watching the Switzerland game. Well, I'm pleased for Fabian Schär. Obviously, they've got through to the knockouts, haven't they? But they were so close to getting a historic, famous victory over the German side. So I was a little bit gutted at the end. Obviously, they conceded the equaliser. The game finished all square, ones apiece. But I was literally like a Swiss fan. I was more into the Swiss performance and cheering them on than I was for the England game. So that tells you everything about the performance of the England game. It was just so frustrating and terrible to watch. It was boring to watch, and it's just literally a reflection of the manager. So hopefully, I don't know whether he's taking some sort of happy pills or anything, but hopefully in the game tomorrow, we go a little bit, well, not a little bit, well, who am I fucking kidding? We go a lot more attacking. We play square pegs and square holes, round pegs and round holes, and we go for it. And I'm just going to leave it there, because like I say, originally I was going to do a little bit more in the England game, but oh, fuck me. Go out there, win, entertain, score a few goals, and let's get us a little bit more confident going into the knockout rounds, which, yeah, is a pretty much foregone, you would think, conclude, yeah. easy conclusion to be able to make. They should have qualified out the group really, really easily. That's what they need to do. They need to put a few smiles on a few faces, I think, as well tomorrow. So I shall have the game on, and then very, very quickly I'm going to judge how this game is going. There may be one of them ones where I'm doing a little bit of something on at the same time. So I might be doing some stuff for Magpie 24/7 at the same time watching the match. It just depends how good the entertainment is. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Eddie Howe to get back. I cannot wait for some more friendlies to be announced. I can't wait to see the lads back in training and to get back for Newcastle United, because that is where it is at. So I will leave it there, and in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.